This is a HeadGum podcast.
Good. What a goddamn setup. Hey, everybody. And hey, Delman.
Hello.
I'm looking to disconnect from the podcast element of this real quick and just launch into a comfortable conversation with my good friend Delman.
Let's do it.
Welcome to Dynamic Banter. Steve is not here. Steve is in Hawaii. Steve tweeted that he was going to be in Hawaii.
And
I replied to that tweet by saying drive safe, and it got a killer response.
Nice.
So the title of my first and only Netflix half an hour will
Driving
be
to Hawaii.
Drive Safe. Yeah, Driving to Hawaii. Filmed in Stratford, Connecticut. How are you, Delman? My guest for today is Delman.
Good.
Delman, you're blowing up.
I'm blowing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were on the Valley Folk, went to Brooklyn.
Well, I mean,
and
I wasn't
you said
really.
everyone was chanting your name, and they wouldn't let you not touch the stage.
Yeah, and they were just like trying to grab me. No, it was
dead.
less. It was literally like, I was like, I'm going to New York, and one of the pitches was, oh, well, we'll let you like open or something. And I'm like, great. Let's go to New York and open. And then I get there and they're all like, yeah, nah. And I'm like, all
They
right.
said no once you were there?
Well, it was just, they didn't mention it again. And I'm like, so, do you want me to open or anything? And they all just kind of like look around and they're like, I mean, we're chill. We'll probably just like come out, just do like a cold open, which, as a performer, no one would ever choose that.
Best possible situation.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, so you don't want me to go out there and take the... Then they're like, nah, we'll just go out cold. And I'm like, all right. And so I was like, cool. And so I'm in the back green room. There's free booze. Oh. I'm like, fuck, let's just do it. Like, so I'm, a few deep. And then literally I like not even paying attention. And then someone asks a question. They go...
All of a sudden you're just on stage.
No. I'm like in the back. And then they go, there's the Q&A part of the show, which is like, it was mainly they did a sketch and then a stand-up and then just Q&A, which is genius. And
sure.
And the first question was, do your best Delman impression.
That was the first question.
Yeah. And then, or who do you think has the best Delman impression? And so then they all start doing it. And then someone's like, well, Delman's here. And then they're like, Delman. And they're like, come up here. And it's all like,
let's
yeah.
A-B it.
Yeah,
let's A-B the impression.
Yeah. And so then they do it. And then I go up there and then like, I was killing it because they were so happy to see me, and I was jolly and having a good time, and it was so good because like I had a really good run, I had some good laughs, and then all of a sudden I hear Elliot go, and thank you, give it up for Delman, and I was like, what?
He gave you the Apollo hook.
yeah. No, but I think it was just kind of they needed to keep it going, but for me, I'm like my it's my time, and I didn't even like get a light. I just get like give it up for Delman. I'm like, yeah, okay, and then I just like went backstage. It was fun, but it was just like it was a hilariously random thing.
That's good though.
Yeah, but I definitely am using it as a credit on my
you should.
Yeah, I sold out the Bell House. I did. And
then
featured for
a lot of people from LA care about when Brooklyn you could sell out.
Oh yeah.
Do you think anyone in LA would be impressed? You think if you're at the Sycamore Tavern and you were like, let me tell you what I did at the goddamn
You know what
Bell
is
House.
so weird? I see like I get a lot of people submitting to me to be on my show, and a lot of like I don't know why, but I read everyone's resume, probably just because
you should, because it's hilarious.
It is hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's always like, some fucking Tito's Bar and Grill. I'm like, why is this on your resume?
Fuck
like,
yeah.
Even
on
if
your
it's,
comedy resume.
Yeah, even if it's like, don't even put comedy store. Don't put anything. Like, just put a link to your stand-up. Let it speak for itself. But I'm like, Tito's, but is that something I need to know? Like, why is that on your resume?
Right. I had an incident at Tito's that you should know about.
Unless you're like a server trying to be another server, that should not be on your...
I'm not a server in real life, but that's my stage presence.
You serve jokes.
Yeah. I say... I remember the jokes that I ask around the room what everyone wants to hear.
Oh, that's a nice.
And then I remember everyone's order.
That would be such a funny show. If you just start
we'll
off,
go
it's
from
like,
left
so
to right. The gentleman?
Let me start with the madam. Ladies first. What would you like to hear?
What would you like to hear tonight?
And then she's just like,
well, I want to hear something about, I want to hear a big vagina joke.
A big vagina. Do you have one of those?
No, but lots of our friends do.
So it would be like curation for your comic friends, or would you have to just like...
No, from me. because I'm the waiter comedian.
Yeah, but wouldn't they have to know your material, or is it
Nope,
like you
not
have to just
necessarily.
make it up?
This is what I want. I mean, unless I passed out menus, I was like, I got something
They're
about
like the
weed.
big
I got a
vagina-
crosswalk
dude,
joke.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
A menu.
I'll take the crosswalk joke and I guess start with something about your hair.
And then you just bring a Diet Coke. No,
Who had the Diet Coke?
light ice? Who had the Diet Coke light ice? I actually like that idea for a show. Have you ever been to that restaurant? God, what is it? Miceli's? Have you ever
No,
been to
what is that?
Miceli's? Do you know what that is?
No.
It's this restaurant in Hollywood. There's one in Burbank in Hollywood, and it's an Italian restaurant, and it feels like what you think a stereotypical Italian, like, you know, the Chianti bottles hanging from
Yeah.
the, like,
Yeah, they
you're
do
just
that.
waiting for someone to come cut your tie off for no reason. Like,
Uh-huh.
it seems very themed.
Yeah.
But the story is it's been around forever, and Miceli, he loved performers. You know, like he wanted to give them a shot. You know, so they would all be servers, but they were all So everyone who's a server there is an actor.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I didn't really realize this. So like I'm on a date. The guy's like, and for the lady, and she's like, Diet Coke, and for me, it's like whatever. And then he's like, all right, thank you very much. And then he walks up, and there's a guy on a piano, and he just starts singing like he's like. Someday when I'm off, and I'm like, is that a freaking server up there? And he does like a little.
He went
soft,
from your table,
straight from the table to the song.
Didn't even put your order in.
And
to
for
the
me,
kitchen.
and for me being like, you know, high maintenance, I'm like, is he gonna put the drink? Is someone gonna run the drinks out? Like, do I have to listen to this?
Drink should come out first before the song.
yeah. I would enjoy this song with a Peroni.
Right.
No, but yeah, Miceli's, they literally perform for you while they serve you. It's very awkward.
I don't like that at all. I'm trying to be.
Yeah.
I don't even have to go there, but just for my I'm trying to picture it.
And when
the secondhand, there's too much secondhand, unless that person's perfect.
They're pretty good. And I
mean,
mean
I
these are their
would
audition pieces, but it's like, and when you walk out of the restaurant, all the servers' headshots are on the wall with like their name and their contact info.
So are they
just in
thinking
case
that,
you were
like-
like, I'm a big Hollywood agent.
Yeah,
I
that's
found
what I'm
yeah.
getting. Are they thinking like Hollywood agents are going to Miceli's for lunch every goddamn day?
I think back in the day, they did. I think it
That was
had.
the
I
only
think it had to
Italian
run,
place.
and I think people made it from there. And now it's kind
Yeah.
of their gimmick. But also, imagine if you're like from
Now there's Pizza Rev and they don't have to go there.
yeah. But imagine if you're from like, you know, Michigan or
Mm-hmm.
something, and you're like, oh, this server, he could be the next George Clooney.
Yeah.
You know, like we were serving. He was great. His name was Brandt. He was a great singer.
We told him we wanted the crazy bread, and he ran over to the piano as fast as he could.
He was playing it. He was singing. And you know what? I became a fan.
Yeah.
I became a fan.
Yeah, and I followed him
Following
on Twitter.
Yeah, on Twitter. I had to sign up for Twitter, but I
Yeah.
signed up for him.
Right. That person doesn't have an avatar.
No,
They're an
haven't. But his handle is like Brandt at Miceli's server, 6'1", SAG must join.
Right,
You're
right,
like, That's
right.
a very long.
Well, he was in a commercial and he had some lines.
A
so he
Miceli's
had to-
commercial.
He was the Miceli's
No, he was in a
commercial.
Chipotle commercial, and he's like, "I'm so sorry, Mr. Miceli," and he's like, "It's fine."
Yeah. I like that.
I wonder if Miceli gets a cut. I wonder if he's like, "I'm your agent now."
Oh,
too.
the original agent? He just lays claim
He's just
to
like,
everybody?
I get 10% on that. If you get seen at Miceli's,
That seems
I'm
like
your
a
boy.
place that would have an open mic on a Wednesday.
no,
Miceli's.
it should. It should have one.
Why wouldn't it? It goes
Because
with the
they're like,
theme.
this is our thing. The waiters sing. We don't let other people come in and sing.
That's it.
I wonder if I was like, hey, I can't sing, but I'll go up there. I'll do some jokes.
You wouldn't be able to get.
You'd have to do other people's jokes.
You wouldn't be able to get that second sentence out.
Yeah. No, but
Watch, dude. I'll be Miceli, and you and you try to
Mr.
apply.
Miceli, I
Hold on,
can't-
hold on.
okay.
I'm very busy. Send in the next one.
Hi, my name is Andrew Delman.
Who are you?
My name is Andrew Delman. A lot of people call me Delman. I'm a stand-up
Uh-huh.
comedian and an actor.
Stand-up comedian, huh? Tell me a joke.
Why can't you keep a Jew in jail?
All right, can you sing?
I can sing on key.
All right. Wasn't this whole thing supposed to be you can't sing?
I can't sing, but I wanted
You're
to get the job.
You're lying to me in the interview?
I said on key. That
On
means
key.
like I can get the notes, but I'm not a great singer.
Sure, you're out.
because they eat lox. That was the end of my joke.
No, I don't.
We can't keep a Jew in jail because they eat lox.
You wouldn't be
Lox
able
finish
to.
shallow eggs.
You wouldn't be able
It's a
to
rabbi
finish
joke.
that.
It's not good. It's not good.
Maybe in 1965.
I know, that's what I'm saying though. Like, they're not doing original songs, so I'd have to do like fucking, like Don Rickles routine or something,
Yeah.
or just some blackface.
It's all old racial.
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. Oh yeah. What do you?
Hey, you can't even do them.
I can't do them because I feel so like I can say them.
You
but
feel so
I'm like
racist.
seeing the cameras, I'm like, I can't say.
Yeah, you
the
can't. You have
colored
to.
guy's gonna quit.
No, you have to watch yourself be racist
Yeah.
in this camera, and then it's much harder.
Yeah.
Christmas just passed. Did you have a good Christmas?
Well, Christmas is past for some of you, but I'm about to celebrate Christmas tomorrow.
Oh, you have a secondary Christmas?
So basically, like, Lee's family's super nice, and they don't want to deal with the bullshit of other people's families. So
Hell
they
yeah.
literally have Christmas just like a week later.
Okay.
Yeah, so
It doesn't sound like those two sentences would go together,
What
but I
part?
know her family, and I know that they're not. You were like, her family's very nice, and they don't want to deal with anybody else's family's bullshit.
Well, no, but I mean, like, it used to be like everyone would make excuses like, oh, well, we can't come up there because we have to go to my family. If we don't go to my family, and her parents live like far away from where I live, you know,
Right.
so it's like where when I grew up, my grandparents were literally like 15 minutes apart. So it's like, we'll hit up mom's side, then we'll go to dad's side, then we
Boom,
go
boom.
home. There, it's like, nah, I can't do it. So they're like, well, we want to see you, and we're tired of you making excuses. We're doing it a week later, which for them is happy, and for me, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, late
more.
Christmas.
I have to do more.
That means you get 2 Christmases at least.
Yeah, but for like a Jewish guy
2019.
who's used to no Christmases, it's too many Christmases.
You have more Christmases than any Jewish person ever.
That might be a fact. Yeah. Yeah.
I was looking at, because your wife,
Hmm.
Elizabeth Newton, is the most Christmassy person
She is an elf.
ever.
Yeah.
Might be. Yeah, I don't have any hesitation in saying she might be the most
she
Christmassy.
is the most Christmas.
She's like if Christmas was a person.
a person.
Who was not Santa.
If you've seen the movie Elf, like
Yeah.
she wishes that was her. You
She
know,
could be
like,
Elf's like sister-in-law.
Yeah. She
Um,
loves Christmas. She's obsessed with it.
Yeah.
There's more storage in our house that is dedicated to Christmas than anything else.
In your apartment.
In
You
my
have an
apartment. My apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a commitment to take up that much
yeah.
apartment room.
But that was in the contract when I married Lee. It was like must love Christmas.
Must love Christmas. And then there was nothing else. And
I'm
then there
like,
was do you or
yeah.
don't you?
I'm like, well, I'm Jewish, and she's like, and I'm like, but I can learn to love Christmas. And then for her, it became like I'm gonna teach him
Yeah.
to love Christmas.
I'm Jewish, but I'll wear whatever you want.
Yeah,
me to
yeah.
wear.
You dress me like Paddington Bear, and
Yeah.
we'll do it.
And that's what I was kind of looking at. She posts you guys over the past couple weeks
Oh,
in
yeah,
your
and I'm just-
Stories stories and shit all the
yeah,
time.
yeah. And I'm
And you're
just
always
like
just decked out.
color-coordinated Christmas.
You're the
boy.
most decked out. You're the most Christmassy Jewish person I've ever met in my entire
Yeah, but I do think a lot of Jews like Christmas now.
Yeah, that's okay. There doesn't always have to be a war.
Well, I don't know about this war on Christmas.
I wish
everyone's talking
more
about.
Gentiles liked Hanukkah, but we don't know anything about it. You know what I was
It was a
thinking the
nice-
other day?
Yeah.
Like when we were at your Christmas party.
Yeah, and then that spontaneous Hanukkah.
There was spontaneous Hanukkah that happened.
Well, 'cause
but
we have
during
a lot of Jewish
Christmas,
friends, yeah.
everybody wants, like all the Christians are like,
Yeah.
everyone should have this.
Oh, the Hanukkah.
And then Hanukkah comes around
Yeah.
and they're like, we're going to do our Hanukkah thing in the other room for a second. Then we'll get back to this Christmas.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. You would think like everyone would be like, no, now you come see our Hanukkah.
So
We stomach your Christmas.
So this, I do agree with this stomaching. I think it's for us. It's like it's not that big of a holiday. Like
Yeah.
it really is.
You don't need to be front and center like
in
all
Judaism,
these Christians.
It's not a big holiday. Like the high holidays, those are the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
This was just a thing that this would be like for you guys. What like Ash Wednesday? Like some people celebrate that, but
Yeah.
not everybody.
We all do Ash Wednesday in the corner of the living room sometimes.
yeah, just like in
Like,
the
don't
you're
mind
"What's
us."
good?" Yeah. But like so when you're growing up, it was like the Jewish kids wanted Christmas presents too, and the parents wanted them to feel like they fit in, so they started giving them presents. But it wasn't that big.
We'll
of a
give
deal.
you presents for Ash Wednesday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
like,
Now
like
I
just
get
out
it.
of nowhere. Like, but we don't have any character. There's no like Hanukkah Harry. Like there's none of this stuff. And
Sure.
it is technically a boring holiday, but for us it is tradition. So it's like you don't want to bother people.
Dude,
with
all
that,
the kids I went to grade school with leaned into the dreidel thing.
What does that mean?
Just leaned into like, you guys have a Christmas tree, we have a dreidel.
Well,
you
the
gotta
dreidel
check
is
this thing
fun,
out.
though.
It is.
It's gambling.
Fuck yeah,
it's just
is.
dice, basically. Yeah. It's like you win all of it. Nothing happens. You got to put 2 in, or you get half.
What?
Well,
what do you bet?
We were betting with the golden coins,
the chocolate ones,
the chocolate coins,
yeah,
Hanukkah Geld, and it's just like
if you win, you get diabetes.
Yeah. But I love the idea that like they're teaching us young to gamble. Like it's money, but it's chocolate money. But it's money.
They're
like,
teaching you to eat money is what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. To hoard the money. Oh, I don't even eat it. It tastes bad. The gelt
I still have chocolate coins.
Yeah, the gelt doesn't taste good. They do that on purpose too, so you learn to keep the money.
That's what they make the chocolate bad?
I don't think they do that. I think they're just saving money.
But it is like the lightest milk
it's
chocolate.
Chalky. Yeah, it's not good.
Why is it so light?
Because I don't know, man. Like none of the Jewish food is.
This
very
is why
good.
I invited you over here.
None of it's very good. Like that's the one thing. Like Lee, I grew up liking it, but Lee hates the Jewish food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's like it's super greasy and it's like there's not a lot of flavor. Like we put a lot of horseradish on stuff to just cover. Like we just need to feel.
Sure.
Yeah. It's like
everything I've ever had from Cantor's is dope.
Yeah, but that's a deli. Like that's the evolved what we became.
Oh, the regular homemade kitchen version of that.
Yeah,
not
like
so great.
Like we don't. Well, no. It's not like we're eating like brisket or like what like Reubens on Hanukkah. Like there's like meals you have to eat, and there's like a lot of weird like all the Christian holidays that Lee celebrates are all happy. You know, like he was born and yada, and he's risen. Like it's so optimistic. The Jewish ones, like literally Passover, you have to dip bitter herbs in salty water and eat it. And the salty water and the bitter herbs are representations of the tears of the slaves.
Oh, I did not know.
So you're just like eating these like
herbs.
tears, and Lee's like, "Why are we doing this?" And my grandma's like, "To remember." And we're like that's all our holidays.
That's so hardcore,
man.
It's
more guilty. Like. We're allowed to relax on this day, whereas other days we cannot relax.
Yeah. 2 Fridays a year you get to relax. 2 Fridays
we get to. Why do we get to relax? We don't eat. We don't. Oh, the reason they eat the matzahs is because it's unleavened bread. Because when we were leaving Egypt, we couldn't bake the bread, and so they're baking it on rocks, so it wouldn't rise. So we're eating the flat bread so we can remember what our slaved ancestors ate. I think it should be more like.
Wouldn't the slave ancestors be like, "Hey, for us, why don't you toss some horseradish on that for us?"
Yeah, please. Yeah.
This is me speaking out of my lane, though. I don't know.
We did it. You guys should chill.
Why don't you dip that shit in some chocolate?
Yeah. I like that.
We died so you could dip shit in chocolate. That's kind of what Jesus said.
Yeah, that's why the Christians are all happy. They're like, he died for our sins. Ours are like, no, they're still here. All the people are still
dude, when Jesus was being crucified and dying, that's Easter. We look for a rabbit.
A rabbit. But see, that's where I get mad at Lee. I'm like, who the fuck is Santa Claus? You know, who is this
no one
rabbit?
knows about that.
Like,
no one knows about the bunny.
Why the bunny? I'm like, it's just lies. And
at least you guys are loyal as fuck.
To what?
Like what your holidays mean.
Oh, yeah.
Like we don't know what it means until we're old enough to accept all these things.
Yeah.
Like they trick us.
They're tricking you.
Yeah.
Whereas it's a better marketing plan to make it dope like that.
Yeah.
Because for us, a lot of Jews become atheists. Because then they're just
jump ship.
It's like, and we celebrate it for tradition. Honestly, like. My grandma will be making like atheist comments. She's 100 years old. My dad will say horrible things, but we're still doing it's the tradition. It's just like keeping the gang
you
back
got this
together.
family. Yeah, you got this family that hangs out.
But the coolest part for me is like introducing people who have never celebrated these holidays to it because they have no idea what it is. And a lot of the holidays are like acceptance, and that's really cool because like you go to some of these like really conservative people's parties, and they're like pretty racist or like homophobic or whatever. Like literally at our Passover table, my grandma
takes all kinds.
Well, like we have someone who's in transition at the table, you know, someone who identifies as they. All these people. My grandma stands up and she goes, "The meaning of," she's 100 years old. "The meaning of Passover is to accept those who are being persecuted, just like our people have been persecuted for thousands of years. So thank you so much for joining." And like accepts everybody.
Oh,
And
that's
like,
not. I thought that was gonna end with like even Jeff or whatever.
Yeah, no. Like the cool thing about her is there's no rate. Like it's just like you are welcome here whenever you need. And we were persecuted, and you're a person, and you're just like crying.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But it's like
nice.
that's why it's nice for me. But
That
I
is
didn't know
nice.
old people could be racist because my grandma was so like progressive.
Dude, old people, if you think about it, invented racism.
Well, back then it was just normal.
Right.
It wasn't racist.
They didn't know what
We
they were
invented
doing.
Racism. You're like, that's racist, and you're like, no, that's just how things are.
I was just being.
I was just being, man. No, it's
I was just only hanging out with people like me.
and hating on everyone else. Yeah,
I figured everyone else was wrong.
no, that's called racist. We just call it life.
We call it being Italian. But you got married during Christmas, or you proposed to Lee during Christmas.
Yeah.
What, 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
So do you guys celebrate that because you have a cute
Yeah.
story?
So I proposed to her on Christmas because
the day you met her
the day I met her on stage, it was a
in the apartment
dare.
we lived
It was a
in
stunt.
together. Yeah.
No, but I didn't do good. And if you've read my article in the LA Times,
Just
if
assume
not, I'll
they
give you. Okay. I don't want to do the whole story though. It's so
No,
long.
you don't have to.
Okay.
I mean, it's a podcast and we got time, but
Oh, okay.
I do have to restart at least one of these cameras pretty soon.
Well, okay. So basically, I never thought I would ever get married. Like not like I'm not good at it. It wasn't an unconfident thing. It was just kind of like I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I need to get my shit to
You're
get
too
my
busy
career.
beating up the puss.
Exactly, just beating it, just smashing it and beating it and jamming. Well, yeah, no, but that's hilarious. No, but I don't know. I was just I wanted to be more secure, even though you never will be, you know. But like my grandma was 100, is 100. As I was saying, and Lee would be like, "Well, you want to marry me, right?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." At some point, you know, but I'm afraid right now. And she's like, "Your grandma's 100. You want her to be at the wedding?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course I want her to." Like, what am I going to be like? No, fuck her. I don't want her at the wedding.
Yeah.
And
She'll
then-
wait until I'm secure financially.
And then we talked about it. And then like, I was just nervous because my parents are the sweetest people ever, but they definitely like keep going or no?
Yeah.
Okay. But
I said that silently, so.
but I didn't know. It looked like you blew a kiss at me. I didn't really. Yeah, I was just like, oh, are we?
This is the part where we kiss for a second.
That'd be such a fun.
This is. I know you haven't listened to Dynamic Banter in a minute, but this is the part
where
where
we kiss
instead of doing when we don't have any ads, we kiss for a little while.
Normally you kiss during the ads.
Yeah. We actually don't have any ads on this particular episode, so I was going to do some dad reads. Do you know what dad reads are?
How your dad would read.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No. But so basically, we talked about it, and I was afraid of like my. Whenever anyone talks about my dad, like any of his old friends from the past, and they show up, you know, they're like, "Oh, your dad," and I'm like, "Really, this guy, the suit guy, you know, like real estate agent guy? He was this one time," and it's always these crazy stories. And so in my head, I was like, "Oh, he settled down, he had kids, and he freaked out and just became like suit wearing, going to work."
Yeah.
And I was like, "I don't want that."
It's like I'm dad now. This is me.
I want to be dad, but I was afraid. And if you go to Lee's parents' house, they have like a bookshelf in their house that like pushes open, and there's like a room in there, and there's like slides, and he lives on a mountain, and he's like a crazy person. and so I was like, "Lee, I'm afraid." And she's like, "You know my parents, all right?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I won't, you know, you're not going to have to change at all." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's a good point." And then started thinking about it. And of course I wanted to marry her. It was just scary. And then I saw the perfect time. Who loves Christmas more than Lee? No one.
No one.
How to make Christmas better. Propose on it. And it was the first time in 100 years, I believe, that Christmas and Hanukkah had happened on the same day. Had never happened in my life.
Yeah.
And so I was like, this is perfect. And so I went to propose to her. I had this whole thing planned out. I was like, oh, maybe we'll go on like a hike. We don't hike, we don't. We don't.
She's
hike.
like, what the fuck is up?
Yeah. And I was like, we'll go on a hike, and then maybe I'll make breakfast. I didn't really think about. I didn't get any groceries. Like I didn't do anything, and then. I don't know.
I'll make breakfast, but I didn't get anything.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had eggs, but I'm thinking about, I'm like, what if...
This is it. Merry Christmas. No, we have life cereal.
I bought the ring, but I was still kind of nervous. And then literally...
Oh, so you couldn't afford the groceries.
Yeah, exactly. It was expensive. And I hid it in my truck. Like, it was just in my... Which now I think about it, that was the dumbest thing.
Well, if you left it in there.
No, I left it in there all
years.
the time. Oh, yeah, for 2 years. No, but... So normally, Lee wakes up later. She wakes up at like 10, some days, and maybe 9:30. But like on Christmas, she wakes up at like 5 in the morning.
Yeah, well, that's when it starts.
Yeah, apparently. I didn't know this shit. And she just wakes up. And so I'm in my pajamas. I'm not awake. And she starts opening the gifts. And I had put it the night before in the gift pile.
You had parked in the living room, so the ring was in there.
So I put it under the tree. And it's like she's just going for presents. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like... Here it is. I'm in the pajamas.
Do you do a thing where it's like one for me, one for you?
Yeah. But the problem also is with Lee, you say we're only doing a few presents, and she's still going to buy you 13, even if you agree on like 3.
No, the present opening needs to last.
Yeah, but what sucks is when I say 3, I mean 3. So like I'm opening 5 in between her ones because I only got 3, and I'm like, oh, you're really nice, and you love me, and my presents are like socks and like a gift card, like bad gifts. And then the third one was the ring, and it's like 5 in the morning, and she just opens it, and I just dropped to one knee, and I was like, I love you so much. I just hope we don't end up like my parents. Like that's the last thing I want. And by this point, I'm like standing up again, and she's like, what the hell is happening? And then I don't really remember what, but then a few hours later,
was starting to fall
hours later, I just was like, I love you so much. This is the first time that Hanukkah and Christmas has happened on the same day. Well, and then I did the whole thing. She's like, why didn't you say that before? And I was like, it's 5 in the fucking morning. I was like, I had no idea. I thought
came down the stairs like a goddamn Wolverine.
But yeah, so we proposed on that day. She kept making me re-propose because I did the first one so bad. So like I kept proposing. She's like, do it again, but better. You know? And so that was really nice. And then I wrote an article I wrote the story down much better than that. And it got published in the LA Times. And that was really nice. And so because of that, we were using it as like this, like, well, it's our anniversary. Because we don't always want to go back. Like we went back to my family's freaking Christmas. It was nuts. Like it's so bad that it's just like we don't want to go normally. So it's like we try and pull that excuse. But you can only do that.
Your family has a Christmas?
We have there's the married end part of my family. Not everyone married Jewish women.
Sure.
So there's like my aunt, her husband and her do a Christmas. And it's just crazy. It just ended up like me and Lee did some edibles, and then it ends up with his ex-wife shows up at the Christmas party, makes Lee sing Radiohead.
Oh, that's great.
While my cousin with Asperger's is playing on the bongos, and Lee is looking at me like, make this stop, and I'm just like,
in the middle of the song?
No. It's eyes. It's eyes. Just like, can we? And then the woman is like, more, and she's recording it, and I'm recording it, and I'm like putting them on my stories, and then Lee was so mad because she wasn't at the good high. She was like in the like
scary.
Yeah, she was like panicking. She wasn't even trying to sing. She was just like, oh man, it's so funny.
Oh, that's great, man. Well, it sounds like you guys had a nice little celebration of you.
Did you do anything?
Can you hit record on the top of that? It's on the other side. There it is.
That?
No, that'll take a picture. The little record button. There you go.
Okay.
Nice. We had a nice time, man. We really we didn't do much. We like being real quiet. We got to go home next year because this year it was real nice for us, but then it didn't feel like, I don't know, we're family people.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
so we need to like be with our gigantic
you like
families.
doing that.
Yeah, we've been blessed with good families.
Yeah.
So we got to go hang out with them.
See, for me, I enjoy it for a few hours, but it's like if we're back at my parents' house, we live in a city, so it's like a lot of us will go off and do our own thing.
Yeah.
Lee's parents live on a mountain, and there's no one else around
It's
them
impossible
for
to do
6
your own
miles.
thing.
No,
Yeah.
and so no one leaves. It's like, because if I go anywhere, they're like, where are you going? I'm like, just anywhere.
Into market.
Yeah,
into town to
well,
market.
we don't need anything. Like, I'm like, I just need a good car scream. I just go in the car and
I'm gonna go check the bear trap.
Yeah,
Leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No,
it's
no,
different
no,
when
they're
you
all
move
so
3,000
sweet,
miles
but
away
it's-
from like all these people. It's like you need to see them.
What's the one thing you do when you get home? Like, is there like, I gotta go to
Oh,
Dead
there's so
Man's
many
Curve
of them.
and-
I gotta go to Dead Man's Curve.
Yeah,
Of all the places, like all the diners and shit.
gotta go to Jacob's grave and have another one.
I crack a beer on Jacob's Grave. Yeah, man. There's a place called Donut Crazy that I go all the time. Every diner, especially the
diners are awesome. out
yeah,
there.
man, it's different, dude.
Yeah.
Here, it's like you got Mel's. Mel's is the most perfect Hollywood diner experience.
But it's kind of sad though. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
cool,
why
though.
it's perfect. It's because that's like, you think about, as an East Coaster, you think about Hollywood being this fake place.
Yeah.
And Mel's is the perfect
It is.
fake diner.
Remember
It's like somebody built a set
Yeah.
and hired a bunch of people to act
That's
like they
exact-
worked in a
What's the
diner.
craziest thing you've ever seen at Mel's? You haven't seen anything crazy?
Everyone's a little off,
They're a little
but I
off.
can't think of one.
Have you ever gone like late night to Mel's after a show at the Comedy Store?
No, we always go to.
Yeah, now, but I used to, when I first was doing shows when I was really young, we would go to Mel's after. And
Which
like,
in Hollywood, you said?
yeah, the one right next
down
to
the street.
Comedy Store.
Yeah.
We would you'd see like pimps show up like in Bentleys that were all crazy.
Yeah. Pimp's got to eat too, baby.
One time I didn't see this, but a guy who's very credible says that one time a pimp showed up in a Bentley with a tiger. And the tiger just like sat very well.
And the
behaved.
tiger ate chicken
Yeah,
fingers.
yeah.
That's
What
crazy.
he's, and I was like, but he's not one of those guys that lies. And so it was one of those like,
Who said this?
Mark, the guy who makes Most Popular Girls in School, Mark Hope.
No.
You don't know him? He's a good friend of mine. But anyways, he said it, and he doesn't lie. And he does comedy too. And I'm like, but I've seen some weird shit in there. I've seen weird shit in there. Like just prostitutes and
Everything sex
you wanna
worker
see.
related.
Yeah. You get it. The boss and then the...
The employee.
Yeah. That's horrible.
The old boss employee relationship.
Remember that horrible diner we went to in San Francisco? You, me, and Elliot.
Oh, yes.
That like it was basically Mel's, but
when the Raiders fans were going to beat up the...
Raiders.
Dude, it's so weird to be that aggressive about a sports game that happened hours ago.
Yeah, and
That's
then
so
like another
weird.
guy showed in, and the guy's like barking at him, and they're
Yeah.
like, "We're gonna beat his ass." Or
Dude,
whatever.
remember the guy's girlfriend was next to him, like falling asleep, and he wouldn't let his girlfriend fall asleep?
Yeah, I was like, it's
Hey,
very
talk
late.
to us.
But don't talk. Just laugh at my jokes.
Validate our jokes. Our masculinity, Becca. Validate us. It was very weird, man. People get too weird.
Well, it got to the point where we're loud, not loud, but we have opinions. We talk a lot.
Yeah.
You, me, and
We're
Elliot.
not quiet.
No, and it's like we go on stage and talk about our opinions. We all just we're silent and just like we got to get out of here as fast as possible.
We got to get out of here, or we got to make jokes out of this fast.
Yeah, but anything you say, if you were loud, they would have come over. They were looking for.
Oh,
someone
yeah,
to-
that's
to-
when-
to dance with.
That's why I'm usually okay in those situations because
Yeah.
I feel like that was my entire high school
Yeah,
career.
yeah, yeah. Well, you're from Connecticut.
Yeah.
Connecticut's a weird.
Yes, it is.
No, like that's what I was saying because I'd never been there. And where I'm from, most people don't look you in the eye, and if they do, they have a huge smile. And they're just like, "Hello, good day," and they just keep walking. In Connecticut, they look you from head to toe, and everyone sizes you up. They don't say anything; they just size you up and keep walking. And I'm like, you just feel like. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I never noticed that until you move other places.
Yeah.
But it's true. Either in Connecticut specifically, everyone's either judging you for what they think you do or don't have,
Yeah.
or they want to beat you up for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I felt.
I don't get either. I don't get what either one would benefit.
It was so funny too, because like I had a really nice time in Connecticut. Obviously, I'm not from there.
You thought you saw an eagle.
I did see an eagle. I know what an eagle looks like. It's our country's bird.
It's on the nickel.
I mean, I've never seen it in real life until I was in Connecticut.
The only one I've ever seen is on coins.
Yeah, but I kept doing like, I love Connecticut. Connecticut rocks. And most times you say that, people like, they don't give you, but in Connecticut, everyone's like, yeah, like they were like giving me
suck our dicks.
like, fuck yeah, Connecticut is the shit. And then after the show, everyone came up to me and they're like, Connecticut fucking sucks, man.
Yeah,
I'm like,
they
why were
hate
you
it, can't get
cheering
it
so
up.
like it was very strange.
Yeah, they have to because they know that it's a group effort.
Yeah.
You could love it together.
Yeah.
But as an individual, dude, I get so many fucking messages all the time from people I went to high school or middle school with, and they're always like, good for you for getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
man.
it's
and I was
so-
like, yo, it's not that bad. And I come back
Yeah, I didn't-
and I'm
yeah.
like, this is fucking awesome.
Awesome.
As like a just for me personally, it feels like I lived there forever. And I got my fill of Connecticut,
It's
and I
sleepy.
don't think
It's
after a
sleepy,
while, yeah, man, with the kind of things that we do on a nightly basis to reach whatever we're going to reach in our careers, there's just nothing like that there.
Yeah.
They just got a couple new comedy clubs, and all the big comedians already hate going there.
Do they?
Yeah, they talk shit about it all the time.
Well,
and I get it to a certain extent, because that crowd that doesn't go into the city to go to, Caroline's or the Comedy Cellar all the time, and they get, comedians to the casinos, and they don't really know how to act or whatever.
When Elliot and I were trying to leave Connecticut to go on the train back to New York,
the Dirty
Manhattan,
130.
that sure.
Yeah.
We were in the bar right before it had happened, and they're like, "Oh, sorry guys, the train's not. It's not going to be going into New York." And we're like, "Why is it not going into New York?" And they're like, "Oh, someone jumped in front of the train." And
Yeah,
killed
it happens
themselves."
all the time.
And that's the next thing the person said. It happens all the time. And I'm like, where does this happen all the time? Like, not in LA, not anywhere else. And
Yeah,
like,
I suppose
the
so.
other guy at the bar is like, yeah, it happens all the time, a few times a month or whatever. And I'm like, someone
It
just
really
jumps in
does.
front of the train and the train stops. And that blew my mind.
Yeah, man. As soon
People
as you
just-
start taking the train all the time, you learn a lot of things.
It was crazy too. And then the guy who was there next to us, he had so many beers. He's like, let's go. I'll drive you into the city. And we're like, and we found a way. We were like,
Get in my goddamn car.
Yeah. I'm like, we're good, sir. I love comedy. Jeff Dunham is the best. Yeah.
I'm going to make you guys my puppets.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
You like Dane Cook now? What?
I'm going to puppet you guys around. Dad reads, I wrote.
What else did?
Oh, can I tell you a little story about Christmas? Did you want to
Oh,
ask
I
me
was
something?
going to say one more thing about Connecticut.
Oh, go ahead.
This was the best thing. I just get to Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
And I was nervous. I had just started stand-up. You and Elliot, we were new friends. And you invited me on this tour. And I didn't know anyone there. And so I was like, oh, I'll just go outside and run my act. And I remember walking up.
Oh,
and
outside
down.
of my house.
Yeah, and so I'm walking up and down your street, and I'm just kind of being like, like, I look like if Andy Samberg let himself go. I look like if Andy Samberg let himself go. Like just
Over-rehearsing,
going
yeah,
through all
yeah.
the fucking stuff. And I remember, like, I came back in, and your dad said, like, one of the neighbors, like, called him or something, or texted him. They're like, there's a crazy man outside, outside your house.
Adam
talking to
Sandler's
himself.
going crazy outside your house.
Lil Dicky's working on a rap.
Andy Samberg, not Adam Sandler. What did I say?
Adam Sandler.
Adam
Dickey,
Sandberg.
And Adam Sandberg.
You're all the same person.
We are all the same. right.
Another place I have to go every time I'm home
Mm-hmm.
is any pizza place.
Anyone. Pepe's.
We had a great time at Pepe's in the casino.
That was awesome.
And there's this wing place called Archie Moore's that I don't know if I ever took you guys to.
No.
That's my number one.
Whoa.
I have to go to Archie Moore's. Last time I went there, I ate so many buffalo wings, and I was by myself.
Yeah.
And on the way home, I felt like I was going to shit in my pants.
But it was worth it.
And it was so bad that I had to pull over
Oh,
into a gas
shit.
station. And I'm like 30 minutes away from my house. I'm not far. And I was driving home, and I was like, I'm going to tough it out. And then I started sweating
And
profusely.
you're like, we got to do this.
And like I was in the middle of fucking Tulsa, Oklahoma, I was like, I need to find a gas station and I need to
Were
put
you
my
actually in
ass.
Tulsa, Oklahoma?
I might as well have been.
Okay. I'm like,
I was 15 minutes
I
away
thought
from
we were
my
in
house.
Connecticut
and I couldn't get,
yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't get
That's
an
crazy.
inch further without the poop coming out.
Sounds you sold it. Let's go.
We gotta go.
So what's the other place better than, or there's another place that's better than Pepe's? It's on like the board.
Oh,
or-
this is like the eternal
Yeah, yeah.
argument that
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
heard since I was a child. But
Yeah.
there's Sally's and Pepe's, and then
Is
there's
it
modern.
Sally's?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
Sally's and Pepe's are like 2 blocks away from each other.
Oh, okay. Did you see that Ugly Delicious episode?
Kind of.
He goes to
Yeah, and then he's like, fucking this fucking
Yeah,
pizza.
yeah.
And then he goes to the other place like, this fucking pizza.
Well, he goes to Brooklyn and he brings a guy who's never left Brooklyn, who's the best in Brooklyn, to Connecticut, and they're both like, these fucking guy. And then it's
Yeah.
like, if you ever move to Brooklyn, I'll fucking slice your throat. And he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And you're just like, this is comedy.
They
bro.
have to. They have
And
to
then
do
they
that.
take them both to Italy, to like the
And they're
area
like,
where they
"This
no,
fucking
but they're like, they both look at each other and like, this isn't pizza. like this.
Let's go back to Connecticut.
This, no. Well, they actually invented pizza. This ain't pizza.
Yeah, they might have invented that, but we perfected
It's a
it.
calzone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Edison invented the light bulb, but that shit isn't bright at all.
Yeah. We don't use that shit anymore.
Holy God. Well, this has been nice.
It has. I'm joking.
I wanted to tell you that's a problem for you. Have you choked on food recently?
No. I've been counting my bites.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Are you up to 60 or what?
I read online that you should chew at least 14 times, so I'm trying to hit
14?
That's yeah.
For everything. Meat,
I normally
cereal.
do like, how many licks. I'm normally like 1, 2.
That's
like I
right.
just like
Yeah.
I swallow food like it's a pill.
Yeah,
Like it's
sure.
not good.
You chew because you know you have to.
I talk so much that I just want to get back to talking, and the food's there, so I'll just and then I'll just take the water and I'll try and just swallow it whole.
Yeah. That's
And
no good.
I've almost died a few times.
That's no good, man. Always count
It's
your
always
bites.
bad too, like when you're with a group of your friends and you want it, like when we were at VidCon and we're all like joking. I was choking so bad.
Yeah.
I ran out. I like cleared a plant and I ended up like puking through my hand. And like the security guard's like, "What the?" Oh, it was bad. I got
And
just
you
chew.
was it? Is it
Then I sat back down like nothing had happened. I'm like, "Oh yeah, what were we
Yeah.
talking about?"
you didn't tell us until hours
yeah, it's
afterward. I was like, you
embarrassing.
could have fucking died.
It's
man.
embarrassing.
Yeah, but you could have died.
Coulda.
You know? And
I know
then
how to do it.
if you were, do you realize how pissed off we would have been if we got up and we couldn't find you and we thought that you like ditched out on the bill and then you're just like laying.
That's what you would think.
Dead.
He ditched out on the bill.
Yeah, that's what we would have
Yeah,
thought.
that's so
and then
funny.
you'd be dead and we'd be like, why wouldn't he just
I-
tell us to Heimlich?
But I don't know.
I
You're
don't
right.
want to inconvenience
I
you
don't
guys.
want.
I'm
I've
gonna
been in
die.
the situation where I was actually choking and a roommate was there, and I like tried to do it, and he just stood there for a
Oh.
long time.
Oh, you roomed with a bitch.
No, and I'm like, I'm choking, and he just like froze.
Oh no.
And then like I finally like I was freaking. It was the worst one I've ever had.
You don't want to take somebody
and
like
I
that on
ended
the
up
Oregon
like
Trail.
getting it out, and then afterwards I'm like, "What the fuck, man?" And he's like, "Yeah, what was that?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? What? Like punch me in the I don't know."
You don't talk to that person anymore,
He's
right?
my best friend.
No.
just yeah.
You can't have. I'm gonna go out on a limb. You can't have a best friend who is incapable of jumping in and saving your life if need be.
It just depends, man. I've saved a life before, but
yeah,
but
you seem like the kind of person who would.
yeah, I don't like it. Like when it's a
Who
fight.
likes to save a life?
Well, no. It's fun afterwards, but like when something really shitty happens, they say you have a fight or flight mentality.
Yeah, or a stand there with your mouth open.
Sure. I think that's a flight mentality. It's
Yeah,
that
oh,
you
yeah,
just
yeah.
freeze. You can't do anything. I happen to I run towards it. And it's too many times like I've been there, like some woman was jaywalking and she got hit by a car. I was there, like I always find myself in these freaking situations.
Good person, Delman.
And you can't get them out of your brain.
Yeah.
But I'd tried to say, I've never been in a fight. So if we were getting in like a good old timey brawl, like I'd give it a go. Like,
Yeah.
I got big hands and I could be a shield or something, but I can't promise.
And I do appreciate that
Yeah,
because
can't
out of
promise.
the three of us,
Yeah.
there's no way Elliot's getting in a fight. unless Elliot's
Yeah.
in Vegas, fucked up out of his mind.
I don't see that happening. Yeah.
The last time,
I-
of the last times I almost got in a fight,
Yeah.
it was on Elliot's behalf.
Really?
And Elliot was saying, no,
Where
let's
was
just
that
go.
at?
It was on Ventura.
Yeah.
And there was a lady backing up out
You
of
almost fought a lady?
parking lot. I'll fight anyone. It doesn't matter. I'll fight anyone right now. You got a lady in here? She was backing up out of a parking lot, and me and Elliot were walking behind her car, and she wasn't looking, and she was
she almost
coming
hit you.
back. And so I pounded.
yeah.
I'll pound on
Yeah,
someone's
that
car
makes sense.
all
You're
day.
gonna run
That's a
over.
machine.
Yeah, that's all right.
And he was like, "Don't.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Don't
Yeah.
pound on a car." And
Yeah.
I was like, "Sometimes
She's
you need to
backing
let
up.
people
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
that they're behind you." And I was like, "There are people behind you. You got to look."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Come on, let's just go."
And that was
So
almost
that's
fight.
Elliot's the let's just go guy.
Yeah.
And I'm the I will absolutely fight you if I
I'm
have
not
to.
an instigator. Like, I try and diffuse,
Mm-hmm.
and if that doesn't work, then obviously we got to go for it. But
Yeah.
like, the last time I was almost in a fight, I was having a really bad day. It was
you were
one of
backing
those.
out of a parking lot.
Yeah, it was a similar situation. The parking in LA, people fight over parking.
Yeah.
And so I'm driving. There's a meter. There's another guy. He was like, we were it make who's to say
You were bocce balls.
Yeah, exactly.
Bocce balls in the night.
Exactly. And it's like we were equal, and he took the spot, and I was just, nah. And so I pull up next to him, and I just go, whoop it, like the biggest finger you've
Hell yeah,
ever seen.
a good one.
Yeah, and I'm just like, fuck you, man. Like,
Yeah.
just like, and I don't do that much. And so it was just like, ah.
I can't even see you doing that.
I know, it was bad. It was a bad day. And of course, what happens is the car right in front of us just pulls out. And so then I park in that
Okay, this all worked out.
And I get out, and he's a big, tall black guy. And he
Yeah.
goes, hey, man, what the fuck was, like, he's ready to go. And I'm just looking at him, and I'm looking at the situation, and I'm like, it's insane. I go, I'm sorry. I'm just having a really bad day. And he looks at me, and he's like, oh, all right, man. Well,
Yeah. Better luck tomorrow,
yeah,
little bitch.
pretty much. He's like, have a better day, and just like walks off. And then I walked up, and I'm like, how did that? Like, I'm the only guy who could get away. Anyone else, he's like, you're a bitch. But he looked at me, he's like, oh yeah, he's having a rough one.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
guy. But
You got a likable face, Delman.
thank you.
You don't have a punchable face.
Oh, that's nice.
Or punum, as they
A
call
punum.
them. I know all these words.
You got him.
This is a little transition story while I look up a history road, but I lit.
Can I grab a beer?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. We don't have much time left. We got about 15 min. Did I tell you that I lit one of the comics at my last stand-up show, and he was not happy about it? What does that even mean? Like when I told a certain comic that we both know that if they ran the light, I was gonna fight him. And I did not fight anyone, but I did
But
like
that was
the
that your
comedian.
so for those
It was not my
the
show.
people who don't know what this means, the person who runs the show is the one who lights them. So Mike was not running the show.
When a comedian has 2 minutes left in their set, when there are multiple comedians on stage, they'll get a
it's
light.
kind of like a yellow light, like
Yeah.
wrap it up.
Yeah.
And
You got 2 minutes, then you got to get out.
but where the show you were on, you had to hard out, so you were losing time if this guy ran the clock. Right?
Everyone after him,
Yeah.
which was like 8 people. So I said, "Don't run the
So
light."
you ran the light, and but no offense, you instigate things like you're not afraid to do stuff. Like you've done fucked up shit to me before, where I'm like, what is he doing? Why is he doing this? And it is funny.
You're not wrong,
Yeah,
and I'm not always right,
because I would never.
and
do
that's
that.
the problem.
I mean, like I would stand up for you, but like Elliot, I don't like confrontation, so I would just like let him
No,
run the
especially
light.
as a grown-up man, you can't get into fights as a grown-up unless you're getting paid.
Dude, I
Because
saw
it's
my,
weird.
I saw my dad get in a fight when I was a kid.
A fister?
Fist, dude. He was a badass.
Hold on, I gotta
Yeah.
turn a camera on. You can keep talking. All the other
he was a
cameras are-
badass. So like, my dad is, as I already said, he's pretty awkward. He wasn't, he didn't impress me. Like he was a nice guy, a great guy. He was always there. But you never, when you say fighter, that's the last person you think of is my dad, a short, Jewish, bald-headed man in a suit. And we were at a store like what would you call it?
A saddle ranch.
Stater Brothers. Do you have those?
What is that?
It's like a grocery store. We're at a grocery store, and there's like a punk, and he's yelling at an old woman. He's yelling at like,
it's over.
Yeah, he's yelling at an old woman. My dad never loses his cool unless we're talking about like money
unless there's
or something.
Injustice.
Yeah. And so he goes, "Excuse me, sir." He's like, "Don't talk to your elders like that," or something. And he's like, "What'd you say, Baldy?" or something. And he goes, "Whoa, watch yourself." Like literally,
just a minute.
I have to give you a warning, And I'm just like, "Where is this going?" He's like, "Fuck you and fuck her and whatever." And the woman's looking, and the guy and my dad's like, "I'm warning you now. Like, if you do not apologize to her, something will be done."
Always being such a dad.
Oh yeah, and the guy like literally says something again, and my dad like stands in front, and the guy pushes my dad.
Oh no,
dude! My dad drops him to the ground, like doesn't punch him, just drops him in like tactical, like I was
Krav
like,
Maga.
yeah, and just like holds him down, and he goes, "Say you're sorry," and then he's like, "Sorry," and he goes, "All right, now." Go on. And then the guy leaves and he's like, "Do you need
come back when you got some goddamn hair on your dick."
Yeah. Come down when you can walk the walk, if you're going to talk the talk. And so he apologizes. And then he's like, "Now apologize to my son for making him watch his dad." And he's like, "Sorry." And then he like walks off, and then my dad like helps the lady put
No, come back. Now do a little dance.
Yeah. Now be a little bitch. Now let my son kick you. No, I'm just kidding.
Let my son kick you.
I'm like, yeah. No, but I remember but he didn't say anything after that. He like helped the woman with the groceries. We went in, bought eggnog or whatever the hell we were buying, and then he just left. It was like awesome.
Holy shit.
So weird.
Sometimes that's turning it on.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to turn it on.
But what would you do if you saw someone yelling?
Oh, it happened the other day, man. A bunch of teenage skateboard kids, sons of rich people.
Not
this
anarchy.
Is
anarchy. Sons of rich.
No, these are the opposite of anarchy kids. These are sons of rich people in Sherman Oaks who skate around because they're bored as fuck because they're on vacation.
Because they're bored.
They're bored because they're bored, and I hate it. And we have mad homeless people, right?
Yeah.
And some of them dress up in dresses, and they're guys.
Yeah,
and some of those
we
people
call them gender fucks.
Yeah, gender fucks. Those are the ones.
Yeah.
So they're skating around, and they bump into this dude who's always around my neighborhood. He's the self-proclaimed
extra weed.
Yeah. He's a different guy. I don't see that guy anymore. I actually feel pretty bad for that guy. But this guy, he definitely doesn't look. He just has an outlandish look.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you're a teenage boy, like you're gonna make fun of that person.
Yeah, it's easy.
But they were like bullying him.
Yeah, that's different.
And like he's in a wheelchair, and they were like skating around him, and they wouldn't let him go.
What is this? Some sort of like bad teenage film?
It was
they're like skating.
What was
around?
The one where they're all vampires, lost boys?
Yeah,
These are like the lost bitches,
the
the lost bitch ass brats,
lost bored boys,
the lost bitch ass brats of San Fernando Valley.
Oh God!
So, I rolled down my window and I gave him the man yell.
What was that? Oh, nice.
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And then Zoya said she did the same thing earlier that day. So they were bothering him earlier that day. But, dude, this morning I almost...
Why did they keep bothering
I initiated
this guy?
Confrontation this morning. I just forgot.
With that guy, with the same
I
group?
found the kids.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
There's construction happening.
Yeah. These guys
at
suck.
our house.
These kids suck.
So, yeah, those kids suck.
Yeah.
And they'll never get any better either. That's the problem. That's the fun thing about Connecticut is that, like, you're either like that forever or you get hit in the mouth at some point when you're anywhere between 13 and 16.
You get the vanilla ice Suge Knight, and then you're like, no
you
more.
get shook.
I'm done.
You get checked by somebody usually older and stronger than you.
Yeah.
So you know what being punched in the face feels like, and you don't want that.
Yeah.
Or you're like, I could take that. Let's fuck some shit up.
This is good. Let's keep going.
Right. So this morning, they had to run some or fix some underground cable for the internet for the phone company or whatever, AT&T.
Yeah.
So along the whole opposite side of this street over here, they had to re-dig it up. So all the cars parallel parked on that side of the street had to be out at 4 or 5 in the morning.
Sure.
I wake up every day at 5 o'clock in the morning.
It's weird.
Not a humble brag. Wish it didn't
it's
happen
very
by
weird,
this point.
but yeah,
I'd like
it's a
one day
curse.
where I sleep in until 11. I'd feel like a different person.
Wow.
If I ever hang out with you and I'm too happy, that's what happened.
Okay.
I slept till 11.
All right. Wow.
So, this dude, all the cars had moved except for like 4 people, all spread out, but they need them to move because they got to start taking up the street. So this dude, instead of like knocking on doors or having the cars towed or calling parking enforcement or whatever, he's driving down the street in a goddamn Suburban in his work vest, his reflective work vest, laying on the horn.
Oh, God.
Dude, at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's just somebody's really shitty. I'm in bed with Zoya. Zoya woke up.
But imagine how pissed you are if you show up to work and now it's like, what am I going to do?
Oh, absolutely. I understand
Yeah.
everyone's point. Here's my thing. First of all, I'm like, it's just somebody's shitty car alarm or whatever. I go outside and he's actually physically beeping the horn, going 4 miles an hour. So I go out on my deck and my deck projects everyone in within 3.
Yeah,
I'm the
they
town
can hear
crier
it.
on
It's
my
just
deck.
bouncing.
Yeah, I'm Paul Revere on my deck.
Yeah.
So I go down. He
bring
has
the shock off.
right. He has all of his windows open. I said, "Hey man, what the fuck are you doing?" And he points at these 4 cars and he goes, "These cars have to move." And I said, "What about everyone else
They're
in the
not
neighborhood?"
my cars?
Let's
those
say-
happen to be my 4 cars. Hold on.
Dude, let's say there are 300. Let's just say there are 1,000 people. There's 1,000 people on this block, easy.
Yeah.
4 of them didn't move their cars,
Yeah.
and now everyone in the
Everyone has to
neighborhood
pay.
has to get woken up because these assholes. And I was like, just fucking tow the cars. Fuck them. Who gives a fuck about
Yeah.
those people who didn't follow the rules? Clearly printed rules on a sign.
I get it.
Those are the rules. Get out.
I had the opposite problem where I lost my cool yesterday. So it was the day after Christmas, right? And
all through the house.
and all through the house, not a creature was stirring. And I don't know why, but I just assumed like that was the holiday lasts. No one's in town. I just assume it lasts till New Year's or something. So I park on,
Which is what it feels like.
yeah, and so I park on the Wednesday side, and that's the street sweeping side. I park my car and Lee's car there. There's ample spots on either side. No one is on the block. So the next morning comes around. I'm walking the dogs. I see the parking permit guy. He's giving tickets out to other cars, and I go, "Oh, hey, man." Totally didn't think so. Christmas. I explained the whole thing. I go, that car and that car, they're mine. I'm walking the dogs. I'm just going to grab the keys. I'm just going to move them over. And he goes, all right, cool, man. Going, I get the keys. I come out. He's gone. There's tickets on both my cars.
Yeah, oh, hell yeah.
I'm like, what the like, I told
give a
him this
fuck.
situation. No, I was like, and he goes, okay, man. Like, and just did it. And so I'm like,
Delman, that guy has one job, and it's not to be your friend.
oh, I know, but so then I'm so mad, and so I'm like fuming, and so like I come out and I'm like, what? I thought, okay, Officer Ramos, it's on. Like I'm so livid.
Yeah.
So I call the parking office. I'm like, Officer Ramos, and I told him, and they're like, sorry, there's nothing we can do. So I get in the car and
Were they like, that sounds like Officer Ramos?
No, they
all right.
just were like, sorry, sir, you parked on the wrong side of the road. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I know, but it's Christmas. So like, that was yesterday. And I was like, it's Boxing Day. They're like, we don't know what that is. So I'm like, so I get in the car. I drive down to the parking office. I go out. I tell him the same thing. I tell him the story. I'm like, I looked him in the eye. I told him. And then I'm like, have you no Christmas spirit? I'm dressed like an elf. They don't give a shit. And I go, you know what?
They're like, aren't you Jewish?
Yeah. And I go, you know what? Fuck you guys. And
Yeah.
and then I go, what? And I go, you are bad people. And I go, I know you can change these because I've lived here for 12 years. And there was one chick who did change them for me one time. And I go, and they're like, why are we bad people? And I go, you know why? Because you chose this job. I was like, you can do anything. Like, you're not making 70 grand a year writing parking tickets.
Yeah.
Like, you can work anywhere and make minimum wage. You're choosing to ruin people's days every day. And they're like, that's not fair. And I'm like, this isn't fair.
Yeah. And they're like, fuck you, we need this.
And then I left the tickets on there, and they're like, if you don't pay them, they double. And I just grabbed them and I walked.
All right, I'll pay them.
Yeah, so I then went in the car, and then I wrote a complaint. I probably won't win, but I got yesterday, dude, $140 in tickets.
What did you write in the complaint? It's the day after Christmas?
I said, I was walking. I've lived here for 12 years. It was the day after Christmas. I assumed that
I made eye contact with Professor Ramos.
Professor. I said, Professor Ramos. I know he's studying to be a professor one day, and he can. No, I said, I laid out the whole thing, and I said I made eye contact. We had a verbal agreement, and then I said, and I also the street sweeper had not come yet, and I just kept emphasizing that. I'm not going to win. I know that.
No, but but at least you stated your case.
But I watched the documentary one time. Did you ever see Ai Weiwei's Never Sorry?
No.
It's a great documentary. It's about this Chinese artist, but basically the Chinese government like fucks him over because they're all crazy communists or whatever. They like literally bash his head in, and he almost gets brain damage, and he goes to every cop every police station, and he reports it, and they go, why do you keep reporting it? And he goes, because if you complain but don't do anything about it, they win. But if you show that the system doesn't work, you win. And I'm like, that's me. I'm going to show the system doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm going to have to pay for it. But
how long do you think you could complain about this before you stop?
Until I get another ticket. Wow. I'm going to just keep complaining until I get the next one. And then we'll just, it was also
for disorderly conduct.
No.
Like he's drunk outside the station.
I already paid the tickets because I'm too afraid to have them double. Yeah. But
you're a good rule following boy.
I love rules. But it's just hard on me because my car was just totaled because I parked on Fountain because of the street sweeping.
Mm-hmm.
And I was afraid to get I could have gotten a $70 ticket and still had my car.
Yeah.
But instead my car's gone and I have $140
It's a tough month. When it rains, it pours.
But I booked a commercial.
There you go.
A Toyota commercial. My dad's like,
maybe
you can tell him we're a Toyota family. I had an Avalon. Your mom had an Avalon. Their Camry, your truck. Maybe they'll give you a Corolla. I'm like, they're going to give me $1,500 and that's it.
They're going to give me lunch from Kraft.
Yeah. They're not going to give me, that's a good story. Give this guy a Corolla.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
I like how our parents' generation
but I'm gonna pitch it, though.
Things work. You should absolutely.
I'm going to definitely give them a little...
Delman, it was a goddamn pleasure having you on this podcast. It's a goddamn pleasure having you over my apartment. I'll show you the rest of it if you'd like. Yeah. That's the kitchen.
Yeah. Will you... I'm going to ask here, so there's a paper trail. Will you come back on my podcast? I had a podcast I tried to start, but I recorded it wrong. Did I tell you what happened?
No, but I
recorded out of this part.
Yeah.
And even though the mics were plugged in, I recorded. And remember, I faced that mic towards the wall.
Yeah.
So it's not good.
It's a rookie mistake.
It's all right.
But that's all right. That's why you do the drive. I was an honor to be a part of the drive run. And I'll be on the second one.
Yeah. You're like, I lost my podcast virginity to you, but it was bad. So I'm not going to tell anyone about it.
I wish I could take my first one back. That would be for the... real quick, before we leave. Your first time having sex, good or bad?
It was very bad. I was taken advantage of.
Yeah, that's bad. That's about as bad as I
woke up. I was blackout drunk, and I woke up inside of a person who was obsessed with me, and they were crying, telling me how much they loved them, and I threw them off me, and I cried for days.
Dude, you are not the only one of my best friends with that exact same story. That's fucking crazy.
No, but the hardest part about that story, and I've moved on, but it's like when people tell you these horrible stories, I don't want to say I was raped because there's this weird like machismo.
Because you can't, because you're a man.
Exactly, but you're like, well, I kind of understand, but like I wasn't physically scared.
You kind of got me too, Delman. Yeah. You got me as well.
Her name is... No.
Yeah, that's you call him out.
It's all forgiven.
But you're good. That was a weird way to end the podcast.
No, it's fine.
But
I'm okay.
It's all very true.
Yeah. How was yours? Was it good or bad?
It was terrible.
It was bad?
I mean, now I don't want to say terrible.
Well, not like that. I mean,
it was bad.
Not a good show.
Smelled
not a good
bad.
Performance.
No.
Not a good tight five.
Nope. There were a couple tight peas, but that was.
But my time after that was really good.
Good.
So that was good because after that I was dating the girl. And I had that like, fuck it. It's already been taken from me. So I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
And she was like, you're amazing.
I'm going to do sex cool now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it scared.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I did it scared for a while, and I
do it
like,
scared now though. Now that I'm married, I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, you don't want to fuck up now.
No.
Dude, sometimes I wonder. There was in my like 20s and my dating days.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool. I got good at sex.
I
would do good
sex.
things.
Doing good.
And now it's like you only have sex with the one person, and you're like, I hope I'm still good.
That means you're really good. Like. When I first started doing a Rubik's Cube, it would take me like months.
This is also what I'm going to say to her if she's ever like, that wasn't so good. I'm going to be like, Delman told me.
Told me. No, it used to take me months to do the Rubik's Cube. Now I can do it in a few minutes.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. It's like, I've been with this person so many times. It's like, we know what we're like. It depends. It's
I'll
like,
turn you green in a second.
It's like, do we want to go for it or do we want to like just real fast? You know, like,
You know, we have two sexes. Which one do you want?
Yeah. You want a good time or you want, okay, we did it. We're both good and it's solved.
That's 100%. That's the most grown up shit I've ever heard you say in my life.
Wow.
All right, Delman, let's go have fun as friends for a couple minutes. And then thank you so much for helping me with this. Thank you so much for listening to and watching Dynamic Banter. Delman, always a pleasure. We did the
bumping. Yeah, after I did, I'm like, damn it. That's all
I was hoping that
it would make it sound.
It was a mic to hand situation. Like, I was hoping that you were going to do that. And just a little bit.
Okay, that's our new thing. I
Grasping
like
Mics on Netflix.
All right, see ya.
Soon. Bye.
Grasping Mics on Hulu.
Pluto TV.
That was a HeadGum podcast.